Bapak dan Ibu. I would like to present my presentation. Is the topic, the title is Crypto and Extreme Volatility Between Speculation, Investment, and Sharia Ethics. So my name is Viko Suramurti. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Islamic Economic and Business and also teach uh, investment management course and Islamic corporate finance and also the fintech in master in Islamic economic in postgraduate program in Taskia. So let's be introduced about the topic today. So we discuss about the crypto world. The crypto world. We know that the crypto world offer high return, but with extreme volatility. I will present the fact information about the volatility of crypto. So how should we view this objectively? So as an investor or as a financial advisor and also from a Sharia perspective. So we have another two speaker, Ustadz Fidan and Ustadz Devin, who will also give their perspective on volatility on crypto. So crypto volatility, what and why? So volatility is a measure of sub price changes in a short period of time.
Berapa?
Crypto is highly volatile due to the immature market. Jadi marketnya itu belum belum mature ya, belum matang. Kemudian lack of regulation. We know that crypto is unregulated because it's decentralized finance. The third one is there is a strong influence from speculation and media sentiment. Yeah. So the impact of this volatility, high volatility, affect both short-term and long-term financial planning, making it riskier for stable budgeting and predictable investment outcomes. So due to the volatility, the changes of the prices, uh, from the investor perspective, we have difficulties on predicting or forecasting the outcome of our investment if we hold crypto asset, let's say the Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Litecoin, etc. So another explanation about volatility, that if the volatility is a measure of how quickly and significantly prices fluctuate over a given period. So let's say in 1 year, a price can increase sharply and also can drop sharply also. So in crypto, volatility is often many times higher than in traditional asset due to the market being relatively young. So compared to the stock market or compared to the property asset or compared to gold, for example, crypto experience a extremely high volatility. Yeah. So this makes the crypto asset a extremely high risk asset for investment. So I will also refer to the academic literature. So this is to answer some comments in several groups that say that this webinar is promoting crypto, is promoting or encouraging people to invest in non-real asset, etc. But I have to emphasize this, that we are not talking about crypto from a speculative perspective, but this is the academic discourse, right? We give we want to increase the literacy of our audience. We want to support about the academic debate around financial fields. So early studies using the GARS model indicate that Bitcoin volatility is highly persistent and exhibit volatility clustering in finance, especially in time series analysis. Volatility clustering suggests that past volatility provide information about future volatility. So let's say in 1 month, if there is a high volatility, we can also predict the next period. In the next period, volatility clustering from one period, a high volatility will impact the next volatility in the next period. So Ardia et al., Panagiotis et al. Also confirm that using the GARS method, we can also provide the information that crypto asset experience extreme volatility. So interesting argument from Dow 2014. I say that price fluctuation in Bitcoin do not suggest a constant fundamental value, right? So in fact, Bitcoin prices seems to contain a substantial speculative component. And this what I want to highlight. So the nature of Bitcoin, for example, or crypto, another crypto asset, that based from the data, the constant fluctuation in prices is from speculative component. This speculative component may indicate the presence of bubbles. We know in finance, a high volatility in prices may impact the future price, and also it can create bubbles. When bubbles happen, and then at some point bubbles burst, ya, gelembung itu meledak, meletus, it may impact another sector in finance, and it also can create the financial crisis. We also witnessed that from subprime mortgage in 2008. Right? So this is the graph of Bitcoin from 2014 until 2025. We can see a high spike in this period, and also in 2000 around 2020 to 2022, yeah, the sharp increase and the sharp decrease, yeah, from this period and to this period. Yeah. For an asset to become, let's say, a currency, yeah, we need a stable asset, commodities. That's Bitcoin. What about Ethereum? The Ethereum also experience extreme volatility in this period. So we can see that this is not a normal asset. It's a high volatility. Yeah. For an investor perspective, should we invest in this asset, regardless whether it's haram or halal? We'll discuss about halal and haram later. Okay. Okay. So based on Caleb and Brown, the crypto market cycle, Bitcoin performed over time. We can also see from this one, it can increase by 150 50%, 180%, 9,300% increase, but it also can drop around minus 87, minus 84, minus 75, 77, etc. So this show that the price of Bitcoin has experienced both accumulation, bubble, and crash, etc. So what is the main factor of the volatility? The first one is the low liquidity and whale move. Mungkin ada yang tahu dengan whales move. Jadi whales itu kan ikan paus ya. Itu yang diistilahkan sebagai large hodler. Jadi kebanyakan adalah uh, institutional investor, ya, perusahaan-perusahaan yang besar seperti misalnya BlackRock, kemudian JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, dan sebagainya. Ini yang disebut sebagai ikan paus. Jadi kalau ikan paus, these whales move, let's say they buy the crypto, or they sell the crypto, make a big transaction, ya, the price can spike or the crash dramatically. Yeah, this is one of the factors that will create the volatility. The second one is media influence and public sentiment. So the market sentiment in finance, we know about the behavioral finance. The pricing of an asset is not because of the fundamental value of the asset, but instead is due to the influence of the media, the viral, the news, and also the public sentiment. Similar with if you know Elon Musk, yeah, Elon Musk say about Dogecoin, about Tesla, it will impact the market price. Also the FOMO, fear of missing out, news coverage, etc. The third one is the lack of regulation. The crypto market still lacks strong regulatory framework, especially in Indonesia. Regulatory decisions such as bans or investigation by SEC, ya, ini Security Commission, Stock Exchange Commission di Amerika, often trigger sudden price movement. Jadi kalau ada pernyataan dari Gubernur Bank Amerika, Gubernur Fed, the Fed, atau mungkin dari petinggi atau mereka yang punya pengaruh besar di dunia keuangan, itu langsung bisa berdampak. Gitu. Kemudian ini this is another one. 25 times 7 market. So the crypto market operate non-stop around the clock. Ya, 24 jam with no circuit breaker. compare to the stock market. Ya di Indonesia pasar modal itu kan mulai jam 9 sampai jam 4. Jadi kalau malam tidak. Tapi kalau di crypto mirip dengan di gold price, mirip dengan di oil prices itu 24 jam muter terus. Jadi tidak berhenti transaksinya di sana. So like in traditional market, volatility can strike at any time. Jadi volatility bisa terjadi kapanpun gitu. Karena dia 24 jam. Nah, kemudian major crisis as the collapse of FTX. If you Google FTX, the Sam Bankman, ya, FTX were proven to causally suppress
Ini.
crypto prices far below contractual scenarios
Nah,
and
ini
increase volatility
kapan
diverse.
satu bukan?
Ya, oke. In 2025, study by using Bayesian structural time series confirm a sharp negative impact on various crypto assets. So the event shocks, ya, event risk, exacerbate the volatility. Ada kejadian besar yang secara tidak
Minimal
langsung atau
yang ini isu
Pak
wakaf ini menjadi
Pak Ahmad, Pak Muklis,
menjadi
Afwan,
kolektif.
uh, sorry,
Saum, hari ini Saum mau
sorry, okay. Another study found intraday volatility connected between the FTT token and other cryptocurrencies during that episode. So, as investor, we have to aware what event that may cause the price change in the asset that we hold. Yeah. Also, another literature, Brini et al., Katsiampa, Gupta, Bakas et al. Found that the driver of Bitcoin volatility include Google Trend, Bitcoin circulation volume, and US consumer confidence. So, another point is that there is a coin that called a stable coin, but in fact, the stable coin is not stable either. Several studies have found that volatility in process of stablecoin is not entirely stable, and in some cases even riskier than Bitcoin in terms of volatility dynamic, indicating that a peg, ya, peg itu dikaitkan ya, di peg. Jadi kalau misalnya dikaitkan dengan aset tertentu, ada koin ya kripto yang dikaitkan dengan mata uang US dollar misalnya, atau dikaitkan dengan emas misalnya, it doesn't always guarantee stability. Tidak menjamin stabilitas dari mata uang tersebut. Ya. More recent research also confirm instability in larger scale stable coin. Jadi stable coin yang dikatakan stabil pun ternyata tidak stabil di situ. Ya. This is from the research by Duan and Andre Urquhart, titled "The Instability of Stablecoin," is published in Finance Research Letter, one of the top journal in finance. Also, Grebis et al. On the stability of stablecoin, published in Journal of Empirical Finance. So, is Bitcoin worthless? It's an interesting question. Yeah, one is from the Nouriel Roubini. We know that Nouriel Roubini, called the Doctor Doom, yeah, the Doctor Doom, who predict the housing crisis burst in 2008. Yeah, Nouriel Roubini, who predict the subprime mortgage in year 2000. Yeah, if not mistaken, in year 2000, Dr. Nouriel Roubini predict the subprime mortgage that will happen anytime in 2006 or 2007, and it happened in 2008. And Dr. Nouriel Roubini thinks that Bitcoin will burst and fall below zero. Maybe he has his own argument. Okay. So another one is Nassim Taleb. We know that Dr. Nassim Taleb is one of the famous writer. His book, The Black Swan, yeah, Black Swan, serves a similar view with Dr. Nouriel Roubini that coined the finance term Black Swan. That Dr. Nassim Taleb compared crypto communities to neo-pagan worship. Yeah. Yeah, another top people, yeah, for popular people include Bill Gates, Janet Yellen, and the current head of the U.S. SEC, Gary Gensler. They have a pessimistic voice about the value of Bitcoin or another crypto. So, what is the impact of volatility on investor? First, it is the perspective from the investor. Yeah, high risk, significant loss can occur within hours or days. High potential, trader may gain quick profit by increasing the frequency of entering and exiting position. Interconnection, volatility can also affect the stock market, gold, and other commodities. Jadi di kripto ya, dengan berubahnya harga, fluktuasi harga itu dapat berdampak pada stock market, gold, and other commodities. Gambarannya itu ada seperti ini. Kalau misalnya kripto itu drop, kemudian pemegang kripto itu akan melepas kriptonya, kemana mereka akan mengalihkan dana mereka? Ya, they can move to the stock market, akan menyebabkan goncangan di stock market juga karena dana yang atau masuk banyak ke pasar saham. Kemudian juga bisa mengalihkan ke gold atau harga emas juga langsung meningkat dan juga komoditas-komoditas yang lain. This impacting global investor sentiment. Jadi ada interconnection antara aset kripto dengan aset-aset komoditas atau aset investasi yang lain. So, other factor, low liquidity, sentiment and media, uncertain regulation, market structure. Yeah. Okay. So, this interesting information. First, who are the top 5 Bitcoin holders? The first, uh, yeah, automatically, Mr. Satoshi Nakamoto. And the second one is BlackRock. BlackRock is the fund manager, investment institution, is a institutional investor. MicroStrategy, Grayscale, and United States government. It is interesting. Bitcoin has mined 94.5% of its 21 million coins, leaving about 1.1 million to go. Jadi Bitcoin koin yang tersisa yang belum ditambang itu ada sekitar 1,1 koin lagi. 1,1 juta ya. 1,1 juta koin lagi yang belum ditambang. Sementara yang lainnya sudah ditambang. Jadi dari sudah sekitar 20 juta yang ditambang. Kemudian terkait dengan kripto juga, lebih dari ada berapa dulu coba? Lebih dari 3,6 juta koin sudah berguguran ya sejak tahun 2021. Ya. Jadi ada berjuta koin yang diterbitkan dan berjuta juga yang tidak survive di sana. So, what's the perspective of Islamic finance? I refer to the word by Mufti Faras Adam. Islamic finance is just about avoiding riba. It's about preserving wealth with purpose, transparency, and fairness. We have to contemplate about ourselves, about our investment, about our view on this asset, new asset. We open to any input, suggestion, recommendation. What is this asset? Yeah, we still do some research about this asset and whether this can be a good investment for investor, a retail investor, and it can be part of our portfolio or not. We still do the research. So another question is crypto safe or speculative? I think that is not off, but it's on. Okay. Yeah. The financial literature places crypto closer to speculative than to the stable medium of exchange. Yeah. This Bauer Dimbel and Clark and Liu and Samenki find that crypto returns are driven by crypto-specific factors, strong momentum and investor attention. This helps explain why its volatility is high. Prices are highly responsive to sentiment and speculative flow. In the world of investing, they are saying high risk, high return. But in the crypto market, the risk is not just high, yeah, but sometimes it's extreme. In 1 week, price can rise 50%, then drop by 60% in a single day. So how do investors respond to this? Yeah, Bitcoin once fell from 69,000 in 2021 to 15,000 in 2022, then rose again to above 60,000 in 2024. Yeah. The stablecoin USD collapsed to zero, wiping out billions in market capitalization. So let's see the profile of the investor of crypto holder. First, short-term trader. The short-term trader of crypto asset focus on technical, seek momentum. They are day trader, swing trader. Second one is mid or long-term holder. They believe in the future of crypto technology, so they hold crypto, Bitcoin for the long term. The third one is speculators. They enter the crypto market, they buy the crypto asset due to the FOMO, due to the influence of the famous YouTuber want to get rich quickly, invest in crypto, invest in crypto, buy crypto now or regret later, and something like that. This is a speculator. The last one is the institutional investor, ETF, pension fund, family office, they enter the crypto market with strict risk management. Yeah. So from the investor perspective, how to face this volatility? The first one, a suggestion as a financial advisor, do the diversification. It's advisable not to allocate more than 10% of your asset into crypto. Even then, it should be spread across Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc. So don't put your eggs in one basket. Put that in several coins if you believe that crypto is a worth to invest. Second one, do the risk management. Use stop loss or automatic cut loss. Second, avoid high leverage. Do not use emergency funds or borrow money. So do not invest in crypto using your emergency fund or you borrow money to buy the crypto. It's really forbidden. The third one, do the dollar cost averaging. Ya, menggunakan DCA metode, ya, menggunakan DCA, buy little each month, not all at once. When the market drop, stay calm because you already have a plan. Jadi kalau menggunakan dollar cost averaging, ada yang menggunakan untuk di saham, di reksadana ataupun di aset-aset yang lain, itu lebih lebih strategik ya, lebih strategik menggunakan metode dollar cost averaging. The last one, you have to have a time horizon. If you invest in something, you have to have in your mind, I invest in this asset for a specific purpose, for one specific goals. Let's say you want to go for Hajj, you want to buy houses, you want to perform umroh, etc. Use a time horizon. If you enter an asset, let's say with 5-year asset, you won't be panic if the price drop 10% in 1 month. Yeah. From the investor psychology, crypto volatility is not just about numbers, it's about mindset and emotion. Yeah. Fear of missing out, FOMO, fear of uncertainty, doubt, many failed not because they choose the wrong asset, but because they couldn't handle the pressure. Jadi investor banyak yang gagal itu bukan karena mereka salah memilih aset, tapi karena mereka tidak bisa menghandle pressure. Ketika harga naik turun, mereka sudah panik gitu. Then, if that happens, that means that asset is not suitable for you. Kalau itu terjadi, berarti Anda tidak cocok dengan aset tersebut. Jadi ada yang mengatakan invest di saham, invest di kripto, invest dan sebagainya. Kalau kita tidak memahami produk tersebut, tidak memahami karakteristiknya, berarti kita tidak cocok di aset tersebut. Itu sebabnya kalau investor, ya kalau misalnya mereka melakukan invest, sebaiknya melakukan profil dari risiko mereka. Apakah mereka tipe orang yang konservatif, atau orang yang moderat, atau orang yang risk taker gitu. Karena itu akan menyesuaikan dengan produk yang akan kita masukin. Okay. So, is crypto an investment or speculation? Crypto can be an investment, but it must be treated as high risk asset. It can be speculation without analysis or risk management and merely following the crowd. Part of a portfolio with strategy, research, and control, it can be part of an investment portfolio. Yes. So what is smart investor do? They understand that there is a big risk. Crypto is not a magic instrument, but it may be an opportunity with significant risk. Yeah. Second, beware of scam tokens. Karena terlalu banyak token, not all crypto asset are worth buying. Beware of scam tokens. Jadi lakukan analisis due diligence mana aset yang layak untuk dimasuki di sana. Jadi sebagai investor yang cerdas, harus tahu bagaimana mengelola risiko dan tahu mengenali produk. In investment, we have two jargon, right? Know your product or invest in what you know and know what you invest. Jadi kenali produk yang Anda invest dan invest hanya di produk yang Anda pahami. Jadi kalau kurang paham, lebih baik hindari. Jadi apa takeaway-nya? Volatility is like a wave. Ya. If you know how to surf, you can enjoy the ride. But if you are unprepared, you might drown. Jadi kalau volatility seperti gelombang, seperti ombak. Kalau kita tahu bagaimana caranya berselancar, kita bisa menikmati ombak tersebut. Tapi jika kita tidak siap, kita akan tenggelam. I will give a short perspective on the Sharia matters, right? Maybe later by Ustadz Fida and Ustadz Devin about the Sharia perspective of crypto. So the first one, scholar reviews on crypto vary. Jadi perspektif ulama terkait dengan crypto itu beda-beda. Some ulama says that it's haram due to its gharar, uncertainty, and speculation. Another ulama says that it's permissible, mubah, if it function as an asset. About the extreme volatility can trigger concern of gharar uncertainty. Jadi kalau extreme volatility itu bisa memicu adanya gharar dan maisir. Does crypto fulfill these three core principles? Clear benefit, free from deception, uncertainty. Jadi harus ada masalahnya apa. Kemudian yang kedua, bebas dari unsur ketidakpastian, gharar. Kemudian bukan semata-mata unsur spekulatif, di sana unsur maisir. Jadi kalau misalnya tiga ini bisa terpenuhi, terhindar dari soal tersebut, maka para ulama bisa mengatakan bahwa aset kripto ini dibolehkan. So, emphasize the principle of caution, ihtiyat investing. Jadi prinsip kehati-hatian dalam soal berinvestasi. First, does crypto provide real benefit, maslahah? Ya. If the asset is solely for short-term speculation without real utility, it may fall under gharar, or uncertainty, or miser, or gambling. Jadi kalau hanya spekulasi jangka pendek, bukan utilitasnya, ini hanya mengandung unsur gharar dan miser. Tapi bila ini digunakan sebagai digital medium of exchange, pertukaran, a vehicle for tech investment or financial investment, it may be deemed beneficial. Ada manfaatnya di sana. Does crypto involve gharar or extreme uncertainty? Ya, extreme volatility may give rise to gharar. Ya, jadi kalau volatility yang sangat tinggi itu bisa menimbulkan unsur gharar di sana. Ada unsur ketidakpastian karena kita tidak bisa prediksi. Kalau kita punya aset di satu sisi kita sudah memenuhi nisab untuk zakat, tapi kemudian dia drop jauh sekali, bisa jadi kita tidak memenuhi nisab lagi aset kita. Terus yang kedua, ya, yang kedua adalah kalau misalnya di makosid syariah, ya, di makosid syariah itu kan ada prinsip hifzul mal, melindungi harta. Jadi kita itu kan tetap perlu melindungi harta dari unsur ketidakpastian. Artinya apa? Kalau kita menaruh aset kita itu di sesuatu yang sangat volatile seperti itu, aset kita itu bisa hilang dalam sekejap, ya. Dalam nggak ada sampai sehari, tadi drop bisa 60% dari aset yang misalnya nilainya 100 juta, drop 60%, cuma sisa 40 juta, sudah nggak masuk di shop gitu. Jadi dari sisi makosidnya, gharar ini harus diadres isu tersebut. Namun demikian, dalam fikih, gharar is not mere price fluctuation. Jadi kalau di dalam fikih, ya, menurut pendapat kami itu, gharar itu bukan terjadi karena fluktuasi dari harga, ya. It refers to uncertainty in contract. Ini bisa jadi terjadi masalah ketidakpastian dalam kontraknya bagaimana. Kemudian underlying objects-nya, or the utility function. Utilitasnya seperti apa sebenarnya dari aset tersebut. Ya, jadi kita menyikapi soal gharar ini juga perlu berhati-hati, ya. Buat investor, buat financial advisor, dan sebagainya. Does crypto promote miser, pure speculation like gambling? And this is another interesting question. If used without knowledge, purely to following trend, hoping for profit from price difference, it's called miser. Yes. But if accompanied with analysis, long-term investment intention, and caution, it may be justified under Sharia law. Jadi kalau misalnya dalam bentuk analisis, long-term investment intention, juga prinsip kehati-hatian, mungkin bisa dijustifikasi dia memenuhi prinsip syariah. Ya. Ini beberapa informasi tentang fatwa dan pandangan ulama, ya, dari MUI tahun 2021 about crypto. Haram is used as a medium of exchange. Jadi karena tidak diberlakukan sebagai mata uang, ya, dia tidak diberlakukan mata uang. But it's permissible as a digital commodity. Ya, ini bisa diingat, ya, nanti bisa dicek. As long as it does not involve prohibited element, fraud, or extreme gharar. Ya, tetap ada rambu-rambunya di sana. Fatwa from Kuwait and Malaysia allow room for crypto use in investment context with a principle of caution. Certain cryptocurrency like Bitcoin are considered governmental intangible asset and can be traded if their benefit and ownership are clear. Menurut Syariah does not automatically prohibit high risk asset, but evaluates the intention, methods, and also the contract involved. Yeah, the use of crypto as currency is haram, prohibited, but it contains element of darar. Because it contains elements of darar and contradict law of number 7 of 2011 and Bank Indonesia regulation. As commodity digital is not valid for trading if it contains darar, and kimar, and does not meet the Sharia recommend as silah, tradable good, namely having a physical form, intrinsic value, clearly non-quantity, ownership right, and the ability to deliver to the buyer. As a commodity asset that meet the criteria of a valid silah. Okay. So crypto as currency, medium or exchange is haram from the views of Majelis Ulama Indonesia. Cryptocurrency as a commodity investment asset, it's mubah, permissible, but it's open to subject to discussion. Yeah, we can open discussion about this one. There is an underlying asset or real benefit. It does not contain darar, maisar, and darar. It's not used for unlawful haram transaction. Okay. Challenge and consideration. Implementing crypto and aligning with Islamic values impact many internal and external aspect of business. Some emerging trend consistent across all industries include volatility and speculation. Yeah, I have discussed previously. Second one is regulatory uncertainty, ketidakpastian masalah peraturan. Kemudian yang ketiga adalah lack of Sharia expertise. The sort of expert in Islamic finance and technology can impact the development of Sharia compliance solution. Jadi ada 3 tantangan dan pertimbangan yang harus kita highlight bersama-sama. Volatilitas dan spekulasi. Ini karena banyak yang menggunakan aset ini untuk spekulasi. Kemudian regulatorinya juga. Ya, ini tidak dimasukkan, masih banyak prinsip kehati-hatian. Kemudian exchange-nya juga perlu diperhatikan juga. Kemudian juga expertise di bidang kripto juga itu masih terbatas. So these are the references. So if you're interested with these papers, I can send the papers. Thank you. If I close my session, this is our program, Faculty of Islamic Economic and Business. We have, especially for the postgraduate program, we have 2 programs, Master in Islamic Economic and Master in Islamic Accounting. And for the Master in Islamic Economic, we have 5 concentration: Islamic Wealth Management, Business Management, Law Studies, Economic and Policy, and Banking and Retail Finance. So we discuss about crypto in both in Islamic Wealth Management and Islamic Banking and Retail Finance. As for the Master in Islamic Accounting, we have 3 concentration: Islamic Business, Social Accounting, Islamic Fintech and Data Analysis, and Islamic Public Accounting and Auditing. And mostly about the crypto, about data fintech and data analysis, we discuss in Islamic Fintech and Data Analysis concentration. So our closing doa, ya Allah, protect Gaza, protect the people of Gaza, protect the children of Gaza. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi